But the markets seem to like everything they hear. They don't think the punch bowl is getting taken away anytime soon. What are your thoughts on this?
No, the punch bowl is overflowing, or perhaps more appropriately, the fire hose isn't blasting. So by tapering, the Fed means it will become perhaps slightly less accommodative. It does not mean it will remove accommodation, let alone tighten. And this in the context of some of the most welcoming conditions in the corporate financing markets ever, some of the very highest valuations ever, and some of the most pungent anecdotal evidence of rampant speculation ever. So Chairman Powell talked about financial stability, but my goodness, the Fed would seem to me to be the author of great, if pleasant, instability.
You know, Jim, we've talked for a lot of years, and I know this has been a concern all through QE as we were building up the balance sheet, and as it's continued, that this would catch up with us someday, that there would be bad things that happen. We haven't really seen it yet. What do you think eventually happens, and how does it kind of manifest itself?
Well, if history is a guide, it will end in drama. And great copy for the financial press. I'm looking forward to that. It will not end pleasantly for the holders of speculative assets. One of the sights of this particular cycle, one of the most astonishing sights is the Fed's balance sheet. Dave Powell talks about the balance sheet, but doesn't go into the analysis of one might apply to a bank. The Federal Reserve is a bank. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York is the principal bank in the system, and it is leveraged in excess of 300 to 1. Now, JP Morgan Chase, for comparison, is leveraged 13 to 1. So a leverage ratio of 300 to 1 presupposes a great deal of confidence or a certain institutional arrangement to prevent you from bearing losses. And the latter holds true with the Fed. In a little noted footnote about 10 years ago, the Treasury in effect, wrote the Fed a perpetual overdraft right. And the Fed goes on about its merry way, adding assets, not adding capital. And the temptations to finance budget deficit, to finance a foreign trade deficit are irresistible. It's like, would you stock hacksaw blades in the prison gift shop? No, you wouldn't. The temptations would be unbearable. And we have put the Fed in a position where it is nothing except the Treasury's handmaiden. I mean, the New York Fed journals $2 billion a week over to the Treasury. It has $4.25 trillion of assets, a tiny, tiny sliver of capital, the aforementioned excess of 300 to 1 leverage. And, I wonder what it would be like if the Fed were held to the standards of Basel III or Dodd-Frank or some of the other rules and regulations that pertain to ordinary banks. It would be a source of welcome external discipline on a system that really answers to nobody. It ought to answer Congress. Congress doesn't ask the right questions. But if the Fed were regulated as a bank, I think we would be at least 1 or 2 steps closer to a state of financial discipline that is altogether lacking these days.